Hello and welcome to episode 100
of Kaiju Curry House.
Get ready to rock.
Oh,
Anyways, on this special 100th episode, we have pulled together and gotten questions from all of you. We are going to be doing a contest and drawing to see who's going to get some awesome Kaiju Curry House merch. But before we start any of that, we have to start it like we always do. Paul, what have Kaiju been up to?
Oh, I thought we might avoid it today, but no. Okay, we'll go ahead.
This is your pun.
I know it is.
No way,
never
no
live it
how.
down.
Not for 100. We can't break tradition now.
yeah, you have to commit. That's the rule.
I will commit. Right, Kaiju stuff that I've been up to. It's Stranger Things. It's kind of Kaiju, isn't it? I watched the last season of that. I thought that was really cool. Is it not? No? That big spidery things.
It was
surely a Kaiju.
It was dead last season. This is you holding on to. How much is Netflix paying you, Paul?
Not enough. I need more Netflix, please. Please give me some more money. Inflation is very expensive.
What about Stranger Things?
I watched season 4 of Stranger Things. I thought it was very good. It was very long, but very good.
Well, yeah, we got fed this season. Eddie Munson is the best character, by the way.
Oh,
is it? I hear he's still alive, but we'll find out.
Spoilers, Paul.
Honestly, that last episode was like a movie at that point. You know, it's just.
It was
It just got progressively longer. It was like a frog in a frying pan. As you binged it, you just didn't know what you were getting into.
Listen, if we don't get a season 5, if we get a Snyder cut length episode, then we'll be sorted. You know, just this long 4-hour episode that could have been easily cut into like 3 episodes or something. But here you go.
Yeah, we're getting the one more season, aren't we? I think that's it. Then they're done.
Yep, that is it.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really cool. I liked it. And there's a a video game like. I don't know if you guys know Far Cry. It's a first-person shooter franchise.
Yep.
Anyway, if you have it, there's a free piece of DLC that you get to play in the Upside Down, and it's pretty cool. Very gory and gruesome, but it's very cool.
I didn't even know that.
Yes, if you have the game, it's free as long as you own the game. It's free. But, it was a cool mission. Very cool. Just played it actually about an hour ago, so it was free to play this weekend. So I was like, yes, I'll jump in.
And do you have cool telekinetic powers like 11 in the?
No, you meet basically a Russian version of 11.
Those Russians.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the Russian. The Russians are up to something. You go to investigate. You meet the Demogorgon and some weird people stuck in the Upside Down who are there to kill you.
When you say that you meet the Demogorgon, is he like at a bar and like you say hi awkwardly, or
it's kind of like that? There's this nightclub, this like Upside Down nightclub. It's really well done, and there's a few of them just like throwing shapes. It's
But is the Demogorgon boogieing on the nightclub floor?
Yeah, it's kind of like a like a twist and shout style move he's doing.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah.
Are you actually serious?
You just imagine him doing that, can't you?
Are you actually serious about the
No,
Demogorgon?
no, none of that is true. That would be amazing, but no, none of that is true.
Oh, man.
So yes, I saw Stranger Things. Great. Love Different Robots. I mentioned that I was on that. Finished season 3. 2 standout Kaiju episodes for anyone interested in that stuff. It was Bad Traveling, where there's like this giant crab thing that's sent. It uses the corpses to communicate through, so it can speak English somehow. That was cool. And Involted Halls Entombed, where there's like this ancient evil, and somehow a group of special forces teams go in there. And they try and survive. They're like no, it wasn't Dracula. There was like
is this the one that was?
They like go underground, and there's like this big temple, and there's a few like booby traps and creatures trying to kill them. They all basically get picked off one by one until they make it to the end, and just find there's this big bad guy who can use telekinesis on them.
It has been a while since I watched it, to be fair, but Love, Death and Robots always deserves a shout. It is so original. It's
so great. I love how they're all different, and they're only 10-15 minutes, so it's perfect just to put one on.
From the latest season, I really enjoyed the one with the rats. The farmer and the rats. That was great.
That was really funny. I like that.
I've yet to see season 3 because I'm currently watching another show, which we'll get to in a sec.
Oh right. In that case, Connor, what have Kaiju been up to?
Well, Paul, so Joe's been sort of like talking down to me a bit.
No.
Because
Is it about reading? He does that to me all the time.
well, not that, but
I will educate you.
I've already been made fun of in the last couple of weeks about not reading any books. But anyways, no. What Joe reminded me very sternly about a show called Primal, right? Which of course is the Genndy Tartakovsky show. For those who don't know, he did Samurai Jack, and Primal is a very, very good show. I have been binge watching the first season, and I finished it, and now moved on to the second season. And I will say it's one of the best TV shows I've seen in a while. You know, in terms of like the variety of the creatures in the show, the whole like visual art style, as well as like it's almost like the way that the characters are drawn in the show is almost very comic book-esque, just because of all the different line weights and all that. And it's almost like I was talking to Joe about, I mentioned this, like I was saying like this reminds me a lot of Conan the Barbarian. You know, it's almost like, what if they made a Conan the Barbarian show? And sure enough, later on, the main character, Spear, gets a sword, and it's just like, oh god, the transformation is complete. This is a secret Conan the Barbarian show. But other than that, it's violent, it's gory, and I highly recommend people that
are of age to watch it.
That's true. I suppose, you know, I mean, if people can go see Deadpool at at 15, I'm sure they can cope with Primal. But
sure, fair enough. The really cool thing for all of you UK listeners is it's actually on the All 4 app, so it's free. There are ads, mind you.
Oh,
but it's free, and you get all of the content. The episodes are released at the exact same time. You get it all same time. It's fantastic in that sense.
So has the show finished, or is it still airing?
It's still going.
Still going.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think there's like 4 episodes out at the time of this recording of season 2. And being Scottish as well, I really do appreciate one of the later episodes, which includes a more Celtic sort of like clan that pops up, you know, which I think they speak Gaelic as well, which I appreciate. But I might be wrong, and the entirety of Scotland is going to go after me for saying that. So, oh man. But yeah, go watch Primal. It's great. Anyways, Joe, what have Kaiju been up to?
So I've been up to a few things. They've been delving into more dinosaur-y, but I've been 3D printing a few things. I 3D printed a mosasaur, 80 centimeters long, for those of you who know metric. And I'm pretty excited about that. I'm going to plop another like-sized one with it, put it on a base, and make a diorama out of it. So that's been eating up some of my time. I watched Jurassic World Dominion with my partner, and she really enjoyed it. We rented it off of Amazon, so it actually included the prologue and a few deleted scenes that they did not include in the theatrical cut, which was really fun. There was a Lystrosaurus versus an Oviraptor fight, which was fun to watch, and then the prologue was the Giganotosaurus versus T-Rex in the Cretaceous that could never have happened. I discussed that in a previous episode. It's not paleontologically accurate, not that JP ever was. Anyways, so yeah, we had fun time with that. I've been looking at some of the new Star Ace/X Plus merch that's been popping up over Wonderfest. We have the Medusa that's dropped. We have a Kraken bust. We have a one-eyed centaur, which is really cool, but still no dragon. I will not be tempted away from that. One of the other things that they've been doing, though, is the Wonders of the Wild. I think that's what the line is called. They dropped a Tyrannosaurus Rex and a Spinosaurus in this. They are pretty neat. The Spinosaurus is probably the better of the two in terms of paleontological accuracy. And it comes in 2 paint schemes, one that's on a bank, a river bank, and then one where it's in the water. The one where it's in the water probably has the more interesting of the 2 paint schemes because half of the model looks like it's underwater. So I quite like that. The Medusa that they dropped, Star Ace, was really wonderful, of course. All their Harryhausen stuff has been knocking it out of the park. So yeah, I've been paying attention to that, been eagerly anticipating that dragon that will drop.
It won't. They're going to cancel it.
Shut up, Paul.
Well, to be fair, if they don't release that dragon, you could easily get back that beast from 20,000 Fathoms because it's the same puppet technically. But
That's true. But that, I mean, like these days, you can almost sculpt your own 3D print it. But I'd like to complete the collection with the actual dragon.
that's true.
The other things I've been up to, I've been looking at a lot of independent films that have been coming out. We have a couple new kaiju coming out. There's The Lake, as I understand
The
it.
Lake, yeah.
Yep.
That one looks really good. As of today, we've seen some pictures of that kaiju. To be honest, I wish I hadn't seen that because it took some of the mystery out of it for me.
I mean, yeah.
But
Have you seen the trailer? Because you see the full thing.
yeah, but anyways, I just assumed that, like we hadn't seen the kaiju and it would have been like saved for the film. I liked kind of like that Jaws-esque vibe where you don't see it until like the very end, and that like you've got that building anticipation. We've discussed Alien before in this podcast. I recently watched Prey on Disney Plus, no less. It's a Disney film. But Prey is a continuation of the longstanding Predator franchise that started with The Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 80s. Prey has to be one of, if not the best Predator films that have been released. It is about an Apache woman who takes on a predator in the Old West. It is fantastic. It is canon with the other films, and it's quite good. There is also an Apache dub of that film where they are all speaking Apache. So there is a little bit of English throughout the film. I should say a fair amount, but there's Comanche and French thrown in there because they come across French fur trappers. But if you get the chance to watch the Comanche dub, it's a very well done film. It's a very respectfully done film, all things considered. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. What else has been dropping lately? I have also been watching Primal. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I've been looking around for merch. There isn't any. You can get stuff on Etsy, as you always can. But I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to mod some Jurassic Park figures in order to come up with my own Spear and Fang. So
Yeah.
that will probably be something that I drop. Yeah, that's more or less what I've been up to in terms of large, dangerous, and scaly. So there we go. Now, I think we should go on to Kaiju Conversations because we have been running a contest and we have lots of questions this week. So for episode 100, 100, yeah,
100.
100. So what do we got, Paul?
Shall I start us off?
You were the great compiler of all of the
I did compile all the questions together, yeah. So we'll start off with Tom Tyler, who's asked some questions. So we won't answer. Actually, let's go. Listening secretly in the shadows for around 4 or 5 episodes, but not throwing in my questions. I do apologize. Tom. That's not good enough. Sorry.
No.
I do apologize, but hearing Connor's micro painting and Joe building his dinosaur recently and Paul with his Bandai models, it seems you hosts are very much into your modeling. I want to know what is your favorite model you own or have made and what model you wish to have add to your collection. There are some other questions. We'll kind of put them in another episode, I think, or else we'll be stretching it. He also wants to say congratulations on reaching 100, and his top 3 episodes, because he couldn't pick one, was Frankie B. Washington, the Yokai Guy, and Livy Edwards. So nice. Who wants to start off about their models?
Oh, Connor, this is all you, man.
Go, Connor.
Oh, man. So I have this one-of-a-kind horrible troglodyte known as Minya. I'm joking, I made this one. But no, in terms of models, I usually prefer actually modeling miniature figures. This is mostly just a space thing, but I'll start off with this one here, which is actually a Harryhausen Cyclops. This is actually
a miniature Cyclops.
Yeah, this is a Ral Partha miniature. So basically, Ral Partha was a company in the 80s that designed lead miniatures for Dungeons & Dragons. And I don't know if that is an officially licensed Harryhausen Cyclops or not, but to be fair, the likes of Games Workshop and Ral Partha back in the day did steal a few designs from other fantasy stuff. And but I would say the favorite model kit I own is this lad here. This is a reproduction of the Aurora model kit, which came out in the 1960s, which I believe was the first ever piece of Godzilla merchandise. And it recently got reproduced recently by a company called, I believe it's Atlas, I think. They recently got the molds for the Godzilla kit. And I believe they also got the rights to the King Kong kit. If anyone wants some fancy 1960s model kits of Godzilla and King Kong, well, you're in luck, I guess. Just be wary that you will need to import them because they're not available in the UK, unfortunately. So this kit costs a pretty penny, unfortunately, more than it should have. But yeah, those are probably my two favorite model kits that I own. Joe, I suppose you've got a bunch of stuff here into your painting.
What would you like, Connor? What's the one you don't have?
Oh, one that I don't have. Oof. That's a tough one. I don't know, really. Just something, probably something more Harryhausen related, like maybe like a Medusa kit, perhaps, or perhaps a Kraken kit. Although I am technically making a Kraken, so shh. But anyways, like I was going to say, Joe, what's your favorite kits?
Looks behind him at his shelf.
I am currently putting together a Mosasaurus diorama, like I just said. I'm quite excited about that one because I grew up in Kansas, which is where a lot of mosasaur fossils have been found. So I'm pretty excited there. There's going to be a pair of 80-centimeter mosasaurs. So that's pretty cool. That's about 2 foot long for you folks who use Imperial per mosasaur. Other than those, I have a Shane Folks Godzilla sitting on a shelf over there that was one of the original kits that I put together. I'm still proud of it. It was done all in brushes, and because it didn't have an airbrush, so like I said, I'm quite proud of it. In terms of things that I've done recently that I can show our listeners, I do have a Carnotaurus that I put together, and he is right here. And yeah, I printed him off. I 3D printed him in 3 pieces, and I gave him a beachy base. I put some felt on the bottom to make him fancy, and I'm quite proud of what I did there. But in terms of what model kits I'd like, I found a Steve Wang Monster Squad Creature from the Black Lagoon creature. It's not just a bust, it's the full creature.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in putting that together. I have a Jurassic Park Chaos Effect Ultimasaurus figure that I want to put together.
Nice.
Yeah. And I would like a Ray Harryhausen dragon. I would like a rearing Rhedosaurus with a lighthouse. I would like to put something like that together. And I would really like a Rain of Fire dragon. Yeah. There was a really awesome Steve Wang character maquette where it was just the big male like on his like crawling on the ground, and that looked like an awesome maquette. It's just a shame it got never put into being a kit, and I would have loved to put something like that together because I mean the Rain of Fire dragons, in all fairness, it's a pretty easy paint job, but just how charismatic their heads and their silhouette is, like how bat-like and everything, I think that would be like a really fun kit to put together. See, part of the thing that I enjoy with my modeling is like the seams, the extra sculpting. I always like to like add a little bit to my kits to make them a little bit different.
Oh yeah.
So for example, with the mosasaurs, they didn't have little dorsal fins. So with great whales these days, you'll see them with like little dorsal fins, like near where their pelvis would be. And I put that on my mosasaur because I figured why not, convergent evolution. So I made my kits a little bit different. So in terms, like on my Carnotaurus, for instance, like the horns are a little bit bigger than the stock version. So like I love doing stuff like that. But yeah, those would be my shout outs for kits that I'd really like to see.
Nice.
Paul, you got anything?
Well, I mean, I don't build models, so I don't have a model kit at all. I've got my 1992 Godzilla X Plus model that I really like, and the Tremors Graboid that you made me. Well, you both made me.
Yeah, yeah. You got the sculptor and the painter right here, don't you?
Yeah, I like that because that's a custom thing, so that's pretty amazing. And like the one I don't have but would like is one that you recently highlighted, Joe, or at least something similar, which was the Godzilla skeleton. Just because I remember seeing that as a kid, thinking that looks amazing, but it was like $80 and I couldn't afford it.
That's a tease. Yeah. That's a tease facto Godzilla skeleton. You can still get them, actually.
I'm sure you can. I just can't. I couldn't build a model to save my life, I don't think. But that's something that I thought that looks really cool.
They actually
we'll have a conversation, Paul. If you send it over here, I'll put it together for you.
Okay.
I think they actually did a miniature version of that kit recently as like a Gashapon figure. Like
they did.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, but they're like what, an inch big?
I think like each Gashapon is like say like a that. So like definitely
like 6 inches tall.
Yeah, I think they also did King Ghidorah as well, like King Ghidorah skeleton.
They did. I sicked one of my Japanese friends on trying to find it, but you can't just find it, like together. You have to, like Connor said, you have to get the pieces. So he was like, tough, but no cigar.
It depends, I guess, because sometimes they do release Gashapons in like packs, which has all the figures. For instance, there's a company called Art Spirits. They did these Gashapon figures of King of the Monsters. Now you can either buy the Gashapons individually, or you can actually buy a pack which has all the figures. So I think it just depends, really. But I'll have to look to see if you can actually buy the Godzilla skeleton complete or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think it's pot luck, isn't it? It's a machine. You put money in, and you get something pops out. You just don't know which one, or you pay a premium and get the whole box.
Or just buy the machine, and even then it probably doesn't have all the bits.
I've just been reminded, you guys just reminded me, another model kit which I've recently come upon is I have the Jurassic Park Rexy.
Nice. Oh, nice.
I have the Stan Winston maquette Rexy.
Well, actually, if you want a dream model kit, there you go. The Stan Winston Godzilla design. That would be a fantastic kit if they ever released it. But unfortunately, never to be, unfortunately. But oh dear. And it's such a good design as well, which what a waste.
It was a wasted opportunity, but at least we got to see it. That's what you got to say there. Anyways, moving on to the next question.
Question number 2. Who's doing that?
Ooh. Let's see.
Go for it, Joe.
All right. So 2 seconds. Let me just bring up the old list. All right. Critics are getting in some reviews for the new Prey movie.
You're going to go into that one, are you?
Yeah. Well, it
okay.
was right next down, which is being released in August, direct to Disney Plus. The reviews are coming in very good. Are you excited? And do you think that Predator is overstaying its run? Well, the reason that I went straight to this one is because I've kind of already said it.
Talked about, yeah.
Yeah, Prey is fantastic. It is not overstated. The thing about Predator, the reason that this Predator movie is probably doing so well is it's not set in the future or in the modern era. It is in the past, because a good part of Predator lore is that they've been coming to planet Earth for a long old time. So to see a Predator in the past, that's what folks wanted to see. That was the imagination taking place. So I think in this case, it's not overstaying its welcome. If we had another modern day Predator, that would have felt very stagnant. But, good shout. That's a great question. But I think that's where we stand on it. Do you guys have any different opinion on it?
Well, I haven't seen Prey yet. I think I'm the only one in this call that hasn't seen Prey yet. I don't know. It's got a lot to live up to, because I love the first 2 films in the Predator franchise. I mean, especially that first one, Chef Kiss, just perfect 80s film. But I don't know. I mean, look at the size of Arnold's arms in that one. That's a very impressive bicep. So, God.
But you need brains, not muscle.
That's true.
I don't know. I mean, the problem with me is I like all the Predator films, so you can't really take what I say, because I enjoyed The Predator. I enjoyed Alien versus Predator Requiem, so if I said it's good, that
You
means
know,
nothing.
I remember seeing that in cinemas and just remember I couldn't see a thing because it was like
It was
pitch
very
black.
dark, wasn't it? Yeah.
My
You know,
brother and I went and saw it like opening night on Christmas Day, or like Christmas Day night, and we both came back like on Christmas, like it's Christmas. What the heck did we just watch?
It was like a slasher film, but with
Yeah.
aliens and Predator. It was
Yeah.
great.
it
That's
was
what
my
that's what it wanted to be. That's what it was. I had fun with it.
it was
All right.
actually my birthday when I saw that film as well.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
what a
it's just
present.
like happy birthday. Can't see a thing. That's
All right. All right. So let's move on now. So we've got Dave. Dave's been a long-standing, lovely member of our community and here in the UK. His question is, what is everyone's favorite brand of collectible? I know some guys love X Plus, other Bandai. Mine will always be the Imperial I had as a small kid. Dave, you have fantastic taste, sir. I have an Imperial sitting right here. I'm going to drag it out for our YouTube audience. Look at that beast right there.
oh, only a face a mother could love. Just
That's
Imperial.
yeah. Nice.
And he
Big
is
plastic toy.
clean as a whistle. Oh, he is vinyl.
Oh, he's vinyl,
He's
is he?
solid too.
Solid
these
as
are
a rock, yeah.
these are sharp.
That's not a
Apparently that's one of
children's
the-
toy.
Yeah,
That is a
apparently this is
weapon.
what. Yeah, apparently this is one of the reasons why they weren't necessarily like kept on producing it, but because it was a pretty successful toy. But yeah, I love the Imperial as well. In terms of favorite collectibles for large, dangerous, scaly things, I have a soft spot in my heart for the Trendmasters Godzilla toys that were released in the States in the early 90s. Basically, all the Heisei films. We had them, albeit stylized variants. My one that got away, the one that I always wanted, was the Varan, but I still have every other character locked away in a green tote, which Paul has seen me open. After that, when it comes to large, dangerous, scaly things, action figures, I like Dino Riders, but if it's going to come right down to it, the Kenner Jurassic Park figures from the early 90s will never be topped. When we talk about Kaiju, X Plus / Star Race. If I'm really going to hand it to between X Plus and Star Race, I got to give Star Race the credit because their Ray Harryhausen line has been absolutely fantastic in terms of what they brought to the table, the detail and the added extras. They've been blowing it out of the water. It's been great. But yeah, I digress. So, Connor, what you got? What's your favorite?
So I've been sort of like slowing down a bit in terms of like collecting, say, kaiju figures, for instance, because I've been mostly into like model painting or model building as of late. But if we are talking about kaiju figures in general, I like to go very simple. I like the Bandai Movie Monsters series because it's what I grew up with. Like in fact, this one here is actually one of the earliest ones I ever had as a kid. This is the
Final Wars Gigan.
Final Wars Gigan. Yep, this is the exact same figure I've had since 2005. So he looks a bit shoddy, but I will say I do appreciate the detail on some of the older Bandai Movie Monsters, especially like because this alone could probably pass off as an X Plus, just because of all the detail that was put into it. But yeah. But that being said, sometimes the figures are hit or miss. Sometimes, the detail is not as great. But occasionally you will get gems like the recent Gamera figures that they produced. I don't know if anyone's ever seen them. They produced a Gamera 95, which looks like a mini X Plus, and it's a really great figure, I'd say. But other than that, I also appreciate, in more recent years, the Mego figures. Now, Mego is a brand from the 1970s that produced Planet of the Apes figures or Star Trek figures, right? But they recently acquired the Ultraman license, right? And they've been producing sort of 1970s style Ultraman figures. So this is one of them here. And so this is like, as old school as you can get, like it's like a cloth sort of like material from like the suit and all that. It's as cheesy as it can be, and they're just full of charm, these figures, honestly. Even though they look really off and really off model, but never mind. Paul, what sort of collectibles do you like?
I'm gonna have to side with Joe because Kenner as a kid, yeah, those Jurassic Park toys were just amazing, and I mean I've still got a few of them. I know they're not. We looked at the characters and they were like really beefy versions of some of the films, but the dinosaurs themselves are so well done, especially the T-Rex with that skin and the car, the battle damage. So yeah, Kenner as Judd, and now X Plus. I'm gonna go with X Plus because of the Death for Real line. I just think they're so cool. Just nice, perfect size for your shelf, really high detailed and lots of fun. So
they're cooler Funko Pops, very much.
They are, yeah. Because Funko Pop is just the complete lack of detail, but you kind of know what it is. Whereas the X Plus is like, this is a highly detailed thing.
I often, as this is pretty bad. I used to compare Funko Pops to cockroaches because they just won't go away and they're just everywhere. But every like shop basically sells Funko Pops in some shape or form. I've noticed.
Yes, you can't escape the Funko Pops.
No.
There we go. So we've got all of those. Thanks for asking, Dave. So now we have Sally. So Sally says, "Hi guys, favorite episode was the one with Steve Wilson. Oh, nice. Good taste. That was a good interview. Question is, if you were to have Godzilla and Michael Myers in a battle, who do you think would win? It was later clarified in some comments that this is a serial killer, Michael Myers, not the Austin Powers actor."
Just wanted to, make sure you got that in there, Joe.
Okay. No, I mean, isn't Michael Myers just like a guy?
He never seems to die, does he?
I think it depends on the continuity as well. I think they're basically all over the place with the Halloween films. It's like, oh, he's an immortal, like spectral thing or something like that. Or he's just a madman or something that comes out of an asylum. They can't make their mind up really. But let's just say that Godzilla probably.
I'm assuming Godzilla would either squish him or just he would just incinerate him, and that would be that. But then I remember that Jason Voorhees.
Michael Voorhees.
Could you imagine?
What an unholy union.
They're all the same, really.
Well, there was an episode of Robot Chicken where Godzilla and Jason had a fight, and I think Jason might have won. I'm trying to remember now because Godzilla couldn't kill him. I think he ate him and then he just kind of cut him up from the inside.
Yeah, but Godzilla heals, doesn't he?
So do these guys. No, they'll just be in an eternal battle.
It's more like a splinter in Godzilla's foot. Anyways, great talking point. Moving on. So we have M. So M says, "Congratulations on the 100th episode. You must all be thrilled." We are thrilled. Episode 100. How about that?
I'm glad I was there for all of it. That's
nice. So my questions. Wow, my questions for y'all is, I like the y'all. Thank you for the y'all. We all have a habit of building up an image of what a celebrity would like before we meet them. Have any of your guests been completely different to how you thought they'd be, good or bad, or beyond exceeded your expectations? Oh,
I'm gonna have to skip this one because I've not been here for too long. So
honestly, I think that we've had like some really lovely celebrities.
We have, but I'm trying to think of any that I've had an expectation of beforehand to think, what they'd be. I suppose, no. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm trying to think of someone that I've been like. Well, Steve Wang, I suppose. We're pretty hyped to see him because he's like done all these amazing things, and he was just so humble about everything, wasn't he?
He was lovely. He was just like, shy and just wonderful.
I was like, so you wrote, directed, and did the effects for Guyver, and you're just like, yeah, I did that. It's just. It was so strange that he was, but I think that would be my answer.
I'd say that we have had really lovely celebrities on. It's been kind of funny because behind the scenes, obviously we talk to them pre, during, and post podcast when there's editing involved and breaks and things like that. And it's been interesting because on some of them, like there will be talking points where you can tell like there's been a nerve that's been struck, and you can see like celebrities getting salty or like, oh yeah, I saw that. They shouldn't have done that. Blah 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 blah. Some of the writers that we've had on have critiqued other writing like shows or whatnot. It's just been really funny to see like that level of talent. That level of talent interacting with another level of talent, and just like the way that they would have done something or their take of what it would have been had they been involved. And it's those kind of things, like those what if stories, that I find really fun. But yeah,
Alex got her favourite episodes are the one with Freddie E. Williams And Livy Edwards. Doesn't Livy sound like Emma Watson?
Livy
Did she?
she would probably love that.
Yeah.
I will say I want to apologize for to Livy for not seeing Doctor Strange. I have since seen Doctor Strange,
good.
and yeah, so all is mended. God. Oh dear.
Paul, I think the next question's got to be yours, mate.
Yeah. No, I've not watched Monsters Inc. or Monsters University. So the follow-up question there from him. So the next episode is from Lisa, and her favorite episode is the one with just Paul. And her question is:
are we going to say Lisa's surname just to make it wholesome? Brag on your Mrs. Paul. Come on.
And her question is: what is the next milestone you want to reach, and will the podcast end with you, or will new hosts continue? So basically,
Lisa's wondering when should she have you back? The answer, Lisa, look into my cold, dead eyes. Never. He is ours now. Take that.
I'd like to think that it would continue without us. And
Yeah.
fresh blood would come on.
There we go. We could pass the torch, as it were,
Yeah.
once we get old and decrepit.
Well, technically, I didn't sign anything, so I quit.
There we go. Oh, great questions. Great questions. So, number 6, I feel like I owe it to this one. Maureen asks, all right, so what is your favorite film? What is her favorite film? King Kong versus Godzilla. Oh, nice. The question. All right. Would you rather spend the night with a gremlin who is specifically given food after midnight or a coked out toddler?
What's the difference?
A coked out toddler. So that's
That's like a dead toddler.
sorry, what?
So like, I mean,
have they have Coca-Cola? Are they on cocaine, or are they just like really hyper? I
feel like if it's the drug,
So this
which
got
children
dark.
and young parents, you should never do, because that is a quick way to kill a child. Maureen, I'm glad that you haven't reached that point in your life yet.
Welcome to Kaiju Curry House. We do dead toddler jokes.
Yeah, this just got dark. Yeah. No, we do not. No, we do not. Please, we don't like drugs. Don't do drugs, kids. I would rather have the gremlin, honestly, because I feel like the gremlin and I would get along. We'd be watching movies way past when we should be asleep, eating junk food, and generally causing mayhem about the house. So, like, yeah, I'm on par with that. Like, sign me up.
If it's not at my house, then they get. So if we're at a cinema, yeah, by all
Is
means.
this the Gremlins' house? Do the Gremlins
Okay.
have
Oh yeah.
house?
Yeah.
Do the Mogwai have homes? We don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Gremlin.
Okay.
Gremlin
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go for a night out with a gremlin. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Thank you, Maureen, for that. So, number 7. What do we got here?
We don't have the name, do we? That was Richard Galt.
Ooh, okay.
Number 7.
How do 80s nostalgia trips like Stranger Things and It get it so right, but continuations of 80s nostalgia trips like the Terminator, Predator, Aliens don't quite hit the mark? Well, Prey kind of did a good job.
Actually, it's actually.
Yeah, he goes, "Are you excited for Prey?" I had mixed emotions about Prey, but after I'd seen it, like even during it, like I turned to my partner, I said, "This is a lot better than the other ones." Of course, she had no idea what I was talking about because it was her first one, but like, great film. Or maybe just why have sequels or remakes of 80s, 90s sci-fi films for the most part been below par?
I mean, have they been below par, or is it just that we've got nostalgia for them? Or a bit of both?
I feel like nostalgia is just like a get out of jail free card. It's being used quite a bit these days like if you can't come up with something original, throw nostalgia at it. I feel like the latest Jurassic Park movie, for all that I enjoyed about it, the thing that I enjoyed most was the bits of nostalgia that they threw in.
Yeah.
Because
I get that.
Because realistically, there was so much skipped over. There were so many plot holes, and it wasn't realistic on quite a few levels. But nostalgia-wise, I absolutely loved it. So, I mean, it is a get out of jail free card for writing. I think if you rely too much on nostalgia, you're going to hit an aging customer base, and you're not going to attract a new one.
Yeah.
Whereas if you assign a set period in the past for an original or interesting concept, it will hit home. So Stranger Things it's basically Dungeons and Dragons, but lots of folks don't know that. But if you set it in the 80s and have the characters go through this really interesting story in the 80s, which provides nostalgia for one side of the audience, but provides an engrossing plot for the other side, that's great. That's good writing, and that's originality, and that's using nostalgia to its best advantage. Relying on the name brand of a franchise to get you through to like the end goal, to the finish line, that's where I think concept falls flat. Thoughts, gentlemen?
I think there's only so many times that you can
put a guy in a rubber suit and have him fight another guy in a rubber suit.
Well, I mean,
we got to be careful.
Diminishing returns there, though, wasn't it? They had to take a break for like 10 years because people stopped going to see the films.
Yeah.
And they tried to bring Alien back, and that did not work out.
Don't get me started.
And we love the alien creature, but again, Terminator as well. It's just like, oh, yeah, we get it.
The thing is with Terminator is it technically had an ending with Terminator 2. The story ended there. You know, it's just Studio Greed at that point.
Yeah, like, T1 and T2 were perfect.
Oh, absolutely.
Until someone thought, we could make more money.
We could make another 5 or so and just keep going.
Actually, here's a good one: Terminator 2 or Terminator 1. Quickly, I guess.
Terminator 2.
T2. It's all about T2.
T1. I have to be the odd one.
The anarchist in the group. Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think the stakes are higher in the Terminator 1, I guess. Anyways.
And the favourite episode was the Tremors episode. One of his favourite films.
We have a lot of Tremors episodes, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true. We do, don't we?
All right. I'll read the next one. We've got Daniel, Quinn, Frank, Ewer. Dan's one of my pals, and I recently went to his wedding in the States, so we're going to give him a full shout out. Hey guys, American listener here, and wanted to say I love your podcast. Oh, Dan, I love you too, mate. As for our favorite episode, I'm ashamed to say that I'm not 100% caught up. By far, they've all been amazing. Hard to think of a question to ask that wasn't already answered, but perhaps something a little outside the box. Do you guys think the Ghostbusters could take on a kaiju, and if so, which one? As for which Ghostbuster, I'm of course referencing the OG Ghostbusters from the 80s.
You could say.
I'm going to say that the Ghostbusters could take on a kaiju. Let's just say there was a kaiju-sized marshmallow man, for instance, there, Dan. I'm willing to bet they could put up a good fight with their hadron colliders or their proton packs. So, yeah.
Of course, when we talk about OG Ghostbusters in the 80s, are they referring to the film or the TV show Ghostbusters?
Ooh, yeah, the real Ghostbusters.
Oh no, not the real Ghostbusters. I'm talking about the one that's got.
Oh yeah, the ones with the gorilla. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Not many people. Think about that. You see, the thing is that Dan Aykroyd. We're gonna go off topic here. Dan Aykroyd's family was like really into paranormal stuff. So like, there's a book floating around like the Ecto 1 User's Guide or something like that, the user manual. You can get them at HMV here, but I'm pretty sure it'll be on Amazon. But it basically outlines all the gizmos and gadgets in the Ghostbusters universe. And the thing is, because Dan Aykroyd's family was so into the paranormal, that's one of the reasons why that movie got made. So when it comes to like the proton packs, the goggles, all that stuff, Dan had this thought out to the nines before the Ghostbusters name ever got involved. So I feel like, was it a ripoff? Wasn't it? I feel like the actual name, they needed that name, and that's where they got into trouble, or they wanted that snappy name. But in terms of concept, that is Dan Aykroyd being original, in my humble opinion, because it's his family legacy in a sense.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I would agree as well. Yeah, the Ghostbusters could easily take on the kaiju.
Murray the Mantis,
stay put.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, they're front and back. They're pretty powerful things. If you cross the streams, and that they'll blow anything up, I'm sure.
Should I do that? You can do number 10, Connor, but I'm going to take number 9. This comes from good old John Hermans. So, favorite episodes is the one where you talk about Godzilla versus the Power Rangers, because
Power Rangers. I like that.
Yeah. For the record, though, I don't read the material, so I should absolutely do spoiler segments. We'll get right on that, John. My question after showing my son his first kaiju movie in Sea Beast is, if Pixar were to make a kaiju movie, what would the plot be? Do not cheat off of Sea Beast. I want an original answer / idea. The second question is, what would your top 3 kaiju movies for kids under 5 be? Oh, an indoctrination question. We enjoy those. So if Pixar were to do a kaiju film,
Monsters Inc.
no, no. So what I think this would be good. So we have Monster Island in the Toho universe, correct?
Yeah.
Mm.
So I feel Escape from Monster Island. Only
Okay, like
it's
Escape from Witch Mountain, but
yeah. Well, no. It's just like the kaiju are trying to escape. And you have like these big kaiju. Think of like Winnie the Pooh and friends, almost like them, but like maybe a little bit more edgy. But like they're trying to escape Monster Island, and it's just like all the goofy hijinks and stuff that they do. It's kind of like Finding Nemo. The fish are always trying to get out of the aquarium, and then once they get out of the aquarium, it's like, well, now what? Like I think that could be turned into a really fun Pixar film.
Just expose the fish from Finding Nemo to radiation. There you go. There's your.
There we go. But that's the way I do it, because you probably have monsters on the island which weren't friendly, that they had to get past certain zones, like all that stuff. But that could be like a really fun, like hour and a half film, like watching like the monsters try and escape, like ducking lasers and stuff so as not to get detected, things like that. Yeah, be fun. That would be fun.
I was thinking more something like Land Before Time, where the kiddie dinosaurs, like a rite of passage there. They're trying to make it from A to B, and all the hijinks along the way, and the friendships they make, and all stuff like that. So, I mean, someone's got to die. Obviously, a parent's got to die at the start, because that's how these films go.
But that's not a kaiju film. That's a dinosaur film.
Well, no, they're kaiju. It could be Baby Godzilla. Godzilla dies. Baby Godzilla, Baby Anguirus, and Baby Rodan have to try and make it somewhere.
You went really dark for this. This is supposed to be a kids' film.
This is. How does Finding Nemo start? Isn't the mum murdered and the child's left disabled?
Quite true.
Bambi up.
Yeah.
I mean,
like we were
kids' films always start with something traumatic.
You see, I got on SS Wilson for killing Littlefoot's mom. Like we can't then hop on this podcast and say that's what we'll do, because we've already.
Yes, we can, because we can say that. But that made you the man you are today, Joe. Seeing Littlefoot's mother die, just
riddled with anxiety. Come on now. So, what are our top films for indoctrinating young children into the kaiju fandom? What do we got here?
What's that one with the kid and the bullies? The Godzilla film.
Godzilla's Revenge.
Yeah, favorite.
That's a terrible movie. Oh, did I say that?
Actually, I wouldn't even show Godzilla's Revenge to kids. I don't think they should suffer.
Yeah, they'll be like, "What is this?" I feel like, I
mean, under 5, because I would say Power Rangers, but that's probably going to make them start fighting and wrestling in the front room. So perhaps not.
Because I saw Power Rangers at that age. What's wrong with you? Come on now. I think.
What do you think?
Not a lot.
Tremors.
No, you don't show Tremors to a small child.
They'll never go on a beach again.
I need the kid to go to the park.
You can show
those
them
monkey bars. No, never.
You can show them the TV cuts where they cut out all the gore and swearing. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
I mean, are there many?
There are. So, all right. So we've discussed like local monsters and stuff like that. I think The Water Horse is a decent enough film that you could probably show someone 5 and under that.
I mentioned How to Train Your Dragon is probably a good.
How to Train Your Dragon, like we've argued that dragon or kaiju, and that has a whopping big dragon at the end. That's a good one that you could show a kid. What's another one? See, the original King Kong is a classic, but it's probably too boring for a kid, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's black and white as well.
And then it has bits of it that that you probably couldn't. The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad.
Yeah,
you could show that
something like that. I mean, what was Mysterious Island? Or I mean, it's probably a Harry Housen film would be all right, wouldn't it?
I think Seventh Voyage of Sinbad is snappy enough in like the first few segments with like the Cyclops and all that, and like going to Baghdad and all the magic and everything.
Oh yeah, it's got the genie and stuff, isn't it?
It keeps the kids' interest going for quite a while. Whereas like other Harryhausen films, like like Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Again, you said like, I don't want to say that black and white's going to scare people away, but like, hey ho. I feel like we need to like drop another Godzilla film into the mix.
No, a lot of them they feel like towards the kids, didn't they?
So the Heisei films, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2. Oh no, they shoot him in the back with that one. That's probably not a very good one. This is a tough question.
What about like the is it Tokyo SOS with Mothra and Mechagodzilla? That was quite kid friendly, weren't they?
Honestly, I think that the Heisei Mothra film would probably be a good one because that's about as neutral. And then you have the baddie, like Batra. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then you have the saving the environment bit. I think that's probably okay.
Yeah, I think those Heisei Mothra films were meant to be for kids in the first place. So yeah, they
Destroy All Monsters would probably be fun. I mean, if your kid can get through, like that time period of film, with.
Actually, yeah, I mean, Son of Godzilla, just because, that's got some great little moments in it.
Do you really want to expose your kid to a face like this?
No,
that's terrifying.
Never.
That was a model of Manila being held up there.
No,
I feel like all children should be exposed to Legend of the Dinosaur and Monster Birds.
No,
actually, I take that back. Gamera versus Gauss, the original Gamera versus Gauss.
Okay, I haven't seen that, so I'll take your word for it.
It's led, like the whole plot is led by a child who's looking at who has a connection with Gamera, is like saying like, oh, Gauss, this, that, and the other. That would be one that I would be comfortable showing a kid. Like Gauss is a big vampire that drinks blood, but like in terms of how scary that film actually is, it's not very. And then it was recently released with the Arrow Gamera films, so like it's easy to get, relatively easy to get a hold of now. So what have we said? Like you could do Revenge of Godzilla if they can sit through it. You can do Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. You can do the Heisei Mothra. What else did we cover?
We had How to Train Your Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon.
I've got one that no one's even mentioned yet.
Gamera versus Gauss. What did you have, Connor?
The Iron Giant.
See, we've talked about the Iron Giant, but I thought about that immediately, but he's a giant mech. Does he qualify as a kaiju? The reason that Iron Giant has made it onto this podcast is because the book is about him taking on a giant dragon.
Well, there you go. Introduce the movie and the book. Yeah.
Yeah, the book's really wholesome too. But yeah, Iron Giant, we'll throw that in because we are huge Iron Giant fans on this podcast. But I feel like those are really solid, films to get somebody started on. Yeah. And I remember being quite young when I saw the Mechagodzilla films, the original Showa Mechagodzilla films.
I think that's most kids' introduction to Godzilla is those Mechagodzilla films.
Yeah. So I mean, like those are pretty good. And like in terms of plot, like by the night, those were getting darker again. But in terms of like what kids, were able to watch then, like spacemen with laser beams and stuff like that. That's no different than if they were to watch like a John Carter cartoon back in the day. So that's fine. All right. So moving on. That was a great question, John. Thank you for that. So Connor, this is yours. Who asked this one?
Okay, so this is a question from Twitter from one of my followers. You get ready, folks. This is a question from Ginger Jesus. And he's asking, have you delved into what other monsters could be considered kaiju? Like take Grape Ape, or maybe even Clifford the Big Red Dog.
So you have introduced Clifford to this podcast. We've been really trying to avoid.
No, I remember it was brought up when we had the Kaiju Weekly guys. Oh, and probably Matt as well.
Yeah, Matt is very vocal about this. The good old Matt Frank, the Frankinator.
Yeah, I'm sure a few people.
We take a broad view of what
we're very broad. Yeah.
We are very broad because we're accepting, and we don't feel like this is a fandom that should be closed off if you like one thing or another. It is niche enough. You don't have to have niches within a niche. Let's just all come together. I don't honestly know Grape Ape, but is he along the lines with Jabberjaw?
Because it sounds like a cereal mascot almost, or like a
Grape Ape is like a
He's like the
Hanna-Barbera
same.
cartoon, I think. Like a purple
Is he?
gorilla.
Is he
Yeah.
called Grape Ape? I thought it was called Great Ape or something like that.
Well, I assumed it was misspelled as grape, but I've just googled it, and there is the Great Grape Ape, who is
Yeah.
this giant
Okay.
purple ape with a hat and jacket.
Does he
Yeah.
eat grapes? Is that why it's
It
called
was a
it?
1975 TV show by Hanna-Barbera. So
Yeah.
there you go.
But in terms of like including them, we will include them because, like I
Yeah,
said,
I would.
like we take a broad, happy view. We just want to hear people's opinions and have people enjoy the fandom, which is large creature features. So
Remember, kaiju only just means strange beast. So
Exactly.
there you go.
Yeah, it doesn't
That's-
have to be big.
that's what we got.
It was on a big, but that's Daikaiju technically. But it's, yeah, let's not be too smart, I guess.
Oh, we've got a couple towards the end here. So Godzilla Fan UK, who's that?
I
All
wonder.
right. Favorite episode is the one with the yokai guy. Now 100 episodes have been reached. What's the next achievement for Kaiju Curry House or UK Kaiju in general?
Yeah, because I mean, episode 200 just seems a bit. It's like, well, we've done 100 now.
It'll be a while, but like we can do it.
Yeah. I mean, So what's the next achievement? What's the next goal that we would like to reach?
Ooh.
I mean, do we want to get a superstar celebrity on, or do we forget about the podcast and say UK Kaiju? We just want to put on a convention or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll get to that. Anyways, moving on to the next question. Whoa, this one's from Black Lagoon Dad.
Black Lagoon Dad.
That's my alias. You include me on this, Paul. All right, my favorite episode is still the one with armadillos because I had
wow,
that was a hoot recording, and I really
that is an
enjoyed
old
it.
one.
Yeah. What is Paul's favorite cartoon kaiju?
My favorite cartoon kaiju. Wow, what an excellent question, Joe. And
He's gonna say Grape Ape now.
no, close. Hanna-Barbera, because nostalgia. The Earth Eater, was it called? In the Godzilla, because I remember that episode. My dad taped it, and I just watched it over and over and over again. And so it was like this. And what was it? It's like it was on all fours, like a crocodile, but with a.
He almost looked like Anguillus,
head.
but
yeah, but he was just all colors,
ate
kinds
dirt.
of brown, wasn't he? Just all patches of brown, and he would eat the earth because he was the Earth Eater, and so the buildings were falling through, and there was like sinkholes coming up because he was just underground eating everything. And yeah, I'm trying to remember the sound he made now, but I remember him being very cool and loved him as a kid.
it was probably some variation of
yes, that's exactly it. It was, I think, just like that.
Yeah, it's just like all those monsters from that show sounded just like that.
But that's my favorite cartoon kaiju, just because of nostalgia, I think. I could say there's lots of cool ones from like Godzilla the series or more recent animated films, but we're going to go for an old school one.
Awesome.
I was curious as to see if they kept the roar for Godzilla when they put the cartoon over to Japan. And yeah, apparently they did. There was a rumor going around they replaced his roar with the traditional Godzilla roar. But yeah, so I can imagine a lot of Japanese kids waking up to see Godzilla, and there's just this
Godzilla.
strange green monster that shoots
Godzilla
lasers
must
from
have
his
a
eyes.
sore throat. What's going on? The audio's changed. All right, folks, we are going to take a brief break from episode 100.
100.
And then we will come right back.
Hello and welcome back to episode 100
100!
of Kaiju Curry House.
We're excited.
Now, we have gone through some fantastic questions from our listeners. Thank you so much for your support, for your questions, for everything you've done over the last 3.5 years, bringing us up to episode 100. Now, we want to talk about the future. Joe, the future. We've got some exciting things hopefully coming up, haven't we?
Yeah, we do. So as official party planner, as it were, I will tell all of you that we are planning on having a convention in 2023. We are at the point of final negotiations for a venue. Can't release it just yet. We're hoping to, but unfortunately, summer holidays, getting all the documents signed and all that. But we have looked at a couple of venues. Hopefully, you'll be very happy with them. But yeah, 2023 is the year we have Kaiju Con number 2. We have lots planned for it. We were looking at original screenings, UK premieres. We were going to have our own UK Kaiju merch, which includes apparel, toys, and models, which is pretty awesome.
I wonder
Connor,
who's doing that.
yeah, Connor has been helping out with the model sculpts, and to be fair, all the concept artwork and the models look fantastic. Connor, do you want to take everybody through like what we've been discussing?
Oh yes. So we are basically we have an idea at the moment for cryptid figures per se. And rather than it just being a just various cryptids from like all over the world, this will be focused on more UK-based cryptids. So
Close to home.
close to home, yep. So it's like we have ideas for some more well-known ones. There might be a design for a certain sea serpent that lives in Loch Ness. We have some even more obscure ones, such as some certain Northern Ireland monsters. You're just going to have to wait and see. You'll be in for a surprise once you see them.
But they do look amazing. I don't want to understate that. Connor has knocked it out of the ballpark, and we're really excited to see how we can bring these figures to you guys. So stay tuned on that front. Regarding the different events and what we're hoping to do there, we want to have a model competition. Like, we've been asked questions. We like to model on this podcast. So if you are similar, it would be great for you to come and strut your stuff, and you could win a model kit and a trophy, which would be great. We would be looking to have another costume contest with a trophy this year. We are looking to have a gaming section where we can play games. That was a big hit for the first one. We were looking to have an artist alley, and like, again, it's just fun times getting to see all of you. And hopefully we can get enough vendors signed up for merch so that there's enough merch for everybody to go around other than just ours. But we are definitely going through with another Kaiju Con here in the UK 2023. Stay tuned for details, but we are very excited to announce that because we've got all of our ducks in a row, all of our Kaiju in a row, I should say, and we're going to make it happen. So there we go. We also have some amazing art, which will be unique to the show, which we have commissioned by none other than the great Bob Eggleton himself. So that's going to be really, really fun. But yeah, we are definitely having a Kaiju Con this year. For everybody who's been asking, that was one of the most asked questions when we put this to the world for episode 100. And yes, it's going to happen. So there you go. We haven't been sitting idly still. We've been doing stuff. There we are. I think with that announcement, we better wrap up and make our recommendations. What do you guys think, guys?
Yep, I think that's a good idea to wrap up. I'll ask Paul first. Paul, if nothing else.
If nothing else, I'm just going to plug ourselves because obviously we've got episode 100 today if you're listening on Monday. Now, for episode 100, some of our previous guests have sent messages of support to us, and on our YouTube channel at UK Kaiju on Wednesday there will be an upload in the evening of the guests' messages, so which will be pretty cool. I mean, there's some really good ones in there, so I hope everyone will check out our YouTube channel on Wednesday, or whenever you want, and
That's
listen
awesome.
and go and listen to some of your favorite episodes. So mine was the one with the yokai guy. Just remember a bit about this spider creature thing that sounded horrific. Loved it.
That is cool.
Connell, if nothing else,
watch Gendy Tarkovsky's Primal on All 4 in the UK. Just remember, there's going to be a lot of adverts, so you can make a cup of tea in the meantime whilst you're watching it. So a very British thing to do, but So Joe, if nothing else.
If nothing else, I'm going to give a recommend for Sea Beast. It was mentioned on this podcast. We'll be doing an episode about it. We are looking for a guest at the moment. We'll see if we can make that happen. But Sea Beast was a very enjoyable film. It was great on a lot of levels. The animation was crisp. Give it a watch. It is a family-friendly film. After that, I'm going to plug us. We are 100 episodes in, 3.5 years. We have interviewed writers, animators, directors, producers, special effects artists, creators, product developers. We have interviewed comic book artists. We have a great repertoire. We are well and truly a great podcast. I don't mind saying it. I am so proud of us. So hopefully you can look back on our 100 episodes and find something that you'll enjoy. And by all means, get in contact with us. We do this to meet folks like you who enjoy the fandom just as much as us. This podcast was started as 3 individuals that just wanted to talk about the kaiju fandom, and it has grown to be so much more. And we appreciate all of your support. It is really wholesome. It keeps us going and it makes us feel great. And we just want to let you know that we are so thankful for that support. So thanks for 100 great episodes. And here's to the next 100, quite frankly.
To 100 more episodes.
There we go.
Cup of tea.
Cup of tea. Thanks, folks. And as always, keep it kaiju.
Hello and welcome to Kaiju Curry House, part of the Heroes Podcast Network. We're 3 guys in the UK producing a fortnightly podcast full of kaiju goodness. I'm one of your hosts, Paul, and joining me today we have Joe.
Howdy there.
And Alex.
Good evening.
Today our main discussion will be why are you a kaiju fan? That seems like a natural starting point, and it's a great opportunity for us to learn about our individual tastes. But before we get into that, let's define what a kaiju actually is. Up until recently, I thought a kaiju was Japanese for giant monster, but I think Joe and Alex know what it actually means. So, you guys, do you want to enlighten me?